Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. My name is Dean Clifford. I'm one of the head leads here for Legacy Define, the game that we're looking to build. Um, it's separate from any other game that we've experienced, but it takes a lot of great experiences that we've had with other games and kind of ties them into one game. Maybe some things we feel like other games have missed. One of the main things that we're looking at doing is taking a party type system game like Final Fantasy VII, really the traditional Final Fantasy type games, putting them together into some sort of MMO, making it where they're able to be interactive with other parties. And I know that Final Fantasy Online attempted to do that. There was a lot that was good, and there was a lot that was missing that we felt like. One of the main things, just kind of a generalization of what we're wanting to do, is take some of the in-depth fighting combat system that Final Fantasy VII possessed. One of the main things that a lot of people enjoyed about Final Fantasy VII was the materia. Being able to customize materia with your skills and abilities to form unimaginable combinations of spells and effects that the materia had a great deal of effect on, whether it affected one monster, the majority of the monsters, how many times it was cast. There was a lot of customization that went into the ability to be able to modify those abilities, and that's what a lot of people enjoyed, kind of experimenting, looking around, testing, and finding what worked for their party and what was most powerful, what was most beneficial. That's something that we want to kind of take and transition into an MMO setting. One of the main things, the big downfall right now is that in an MMO, a general MMO like World of Warcraft or EverQuest Online, Lineage 2 back in the day, some of these major MMOs, it was about creating one character, you fulfilling that character as a person, leveling it up, maxing it out, going to raids, just doing whatever you could to maximize the gear on that character. And as you became more progressed with that character towards the end game, you started to there was less and less that you could accomplish. One of the main goals at that point in time is creating an alternate character, starting from ground up, level 1, leveling it up so that you can have a different experience in the game with a different role, different type character, or maybe just something that was a little bit different. You went from melee to ranged, something along those lines. What the party system back in Final Fantasy VII allowed you to do, and what I enjoyed, is that you had a party system. You had a makeup of a number of characters that you were in control of, that you took pride in, that you were proud of, and you leveled them up as a party. You had any and everything that you wanted. You had a tank, you had a mage, a caster, you had a melee damage dealer, a healer. And throughout the course of the game, because you have a party system, they're all leveling up simultaneously or individually, just kind of depending on who's present in that party at that point in time, and swapping in and out. It does a number of things. One, it helps you fulfill all those roles or those interests that you have in a party without having to replay the same game over and over again, starting up alternative characters. And some people enjoy that, and if that's you, then that's great. I know that a lot of the people that I game with enjoy leveling up and having multiple characters or roles that they can fill amongst their account. But being able to provide a party where you're in control of anywhere from 3 to 5 characters that fulfill different roles, but leveling them up simultaneously is just a big thing that we want to kind of build on. What we want to do is kind of take that party system and transition it to something that we haven't seen. I know that back in the day, whenever we were playing Final Fantasy VII and we had this ultimate party, we found the great combinations that we wanted to fulfill with materia, having, Quadra Knights of the Rounds cast, or 8 Omni Slashes with counterattack cast, so that when a monster attacked one of our characters, it basically sparked a series of Omni Slashes that were counterattacks to their attack. Mimics, mimicking spells, final attacks, things like that were amazing. Customizing them, fulfilling them to your taste, and just creating these very powerful parties that you felt very confident in. One of the things you couldn't do with that, and we found ourselves in heated debates many times of how our party's configuration was better than their party's configuration, even amongst friends, how competitively we felt like our party was stronger, but we never had a basically somewhere that we could express or test that theory or go head to head. And that's something that I think would create a very competitive environment, a very competitive audience, and would have a lot of theory crafting to do, would have a lot of experimenting to do, testing, And it would just create a great environment for people to go head-to-head in a party-type system like that that is fully customizable, learn from each other, and adapt to their type of play styles without having to commit to one single type of character. So what we want to do is we want to take the fully customizable template that they use in Final Fantasy VII with the Materia. We'll obviously call it something different. It'll basically be anomalies that you're able to use in conjunction with other anomalies, and there'll be sockets that are fulfilled similar to Final Fantasy VII for gear, weapons, spells, and you'll be able to customize your party to your type of play. In addition to that, we want to be able to have you go head-to-head with some friends, sign up for an arena, a tournament where a number of people with these powerful parties or certain levels, certain rankings are able to go head-to-head and kind of duel it out, battle it out, and see what their party, how it fares in conjunction with others. In addition to that, something else that we found was that the raiding environment in MMOs today is highly competitive, and it's something that draws a lot of attention. And we actually enjoy it quite a bit ourselves as well. Going into a raid where progression takes weeks, months, and it's not go in, clear out an instance, clear out a dungeon, clear out a raid, and be done with it. We want to have a party type system where it's adaptable. So if you have a 10-man raid that's out there that people are looking for, you can either take 2 of your characters that are well equipped for it, very strong, or you can take all 4 of your party in conjunction with another friend's 4 party members, and then have somebody else that has maybe 2 that they can bring in. And as a party system where you control yours, they control theirs, but you're forming together as one raid, be able to go in and fight bosses, go through dungeons, raids, and find loot, quests, and just kind of adventure through these raids. We want to be able to have something as big as 40-man, where you have maybe 10 guild members that have 4-man parties, all made up of tanks, healers, damage dealers, and supports that work together to, try and bring down a progressed raid or a stronger boss, a world boss, things like that. Or maybe even 15 people that are compiled up of 2- and 3-man parties. We want to be able to have that option, though, to be able to work and interact with other parties so that you can showcase how your party differentiates from theirs and how they can work together through customization to create these powerful armies, but not necessarily be hindered by needing 40 people in order to perform that. One of the challenges that we're looking at, obviously, whenever we look at that is the combat style. One thing that we want to do is look at the Final Fantasy Tactics combat style, or if you've played Divinity, Original Sin, that type of combat style where it's tabletop, you have a certain area that the fight takes place in, and it's all interactive. The environment's interactive, your movement is interactive, being able to move around the battlefield, position yourself tactically, almost like a virtual chess match where you're able to work with your party, create combinations, but use those specialty abilities and that customizable character or party that you've created, similar to the Final Fantasy Materia, and then kind of find a balance or a way where we can integrate all that into one type combat system that's going to be engulfing, where you're not annoyed by going into combat, where after you're exploring, you go into combat with some random mobs. You actually enjoy the challenge and are looking to be able to go into that combat system and actually play, enjoy, and do it repetitively. We do want quest lines and other challenges and things like that are going to help you progress in levels, similar to Final Fantasy, where you're starting at level 1 through your progression, storyline, questing, you're leveling up to level 100. But we want it to be enjoyable along the way. We don't want it to be grinding necessarily, but we want combat to be enjoyable enough to where whenever you're drawn into a fight, you're not trying to escape, run away, getting angry, you're actually enjoying that encounter. So that in conjunction with a number of other things is kind of what we're looking at. This is just kind of a generalization of what we're looking to build. And obviously we'll go into a little bit more detail with some explanation, some